This one is a good one, really effective way to get them seen, to get more eyes on them really, to get people to share it. Hi guys, welcome back to another video, and once again a video all about Instagram stories. We have got lots more hacks for you today to spice up those Instagram stories. I did actually do a part 1 of this already and went over a few hacks, tips, tricks that you can use in Instagram stories. So if you want to check out the previous ones that I mentioned, you can check out our latest Instagram story video right here. I don't know which side it's on. It's up there. So check that one out. But today we are gonna bring you 5 new ones that are gonna make those Instagram stories look really, really cool. So let's just jump right in. Let's jump in. Okay, so the first one is, I guess, a simple one, but I think it's one that we all forget about, because I know I've forgotten that this feature exists. I feel kind of silly that I forgot how to use it, but okay, so you know when you're putting a nice picture up to your Instagram story and you've got some really cool aesthetic colors going on, maybe you have a nice color scheme and you go to write something and you're like, I need this text, this color to match in with the picture that I'm making. It has to look right. And what I forgot that you could do is scroll to the very left here and use the little pick tool and then drag it all around your picture so it chooses the actual colors that are in that particular picture, and you can use whatever color you want to make your text fit in perfectly with it. Like, how did I forget you could do that? I spent so much time trying to like match the color of the text to something in the picture, and I'm like, oh, I feel like such an idiot. But that's a good tip. Okay, moving on to tip number 2, which I found out recently, which is really pretty cool. A good way to add a little bit of motion into your stories, and it's done using emojis. First of all, you kind of want to know what you want to have moving around in your picture, so kind of have a look through the emojis or the list of things and see what exactly you want to include in your photo. But what you can But what you can do is something really cool like this. You use the emoji and place it somewhere on your picture, and then you just save it. And then you can like move it around, make it bigger depending on what way the motion, what kind of motion you want to portray. If you want something to go across the screen or up. So you just move it around every time, saving it every time as well. And then when you put all of those pictures together, it will look like the emoji or the particular element is in motion. Pretty cool. Okay, so tip number 3 is all about getting a cool piece of text into your Instagram story, making that text just a little bit more unique and stand out. It's kind of just something that you forget about that you can do. So usually you write the one word all together and you don't think about anything else, but what you can do to make it look really cool is, instead of writing the full word all together, just write one letter at a time. So start with C, and I'm going to spell out the word coffee, but do it one letter at a time, and then I'm going to put the little border around each letter. And what you can do is make those different colors, so it kind of makes one really cool collective. It just makes it look really cool, really neat. Gives it that little bit of a difference. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I like it. Moving on to tip number 4. Wow, we are flying through these tips today. Tip number 4 is one that I also feel really silly that I did know that you could do it, but it just doesn't enter my head when I'm making my stories. And I used to even say to myself, I want to put all of my stories up at once so they all go up at the same time, because you might have 4, 5, 6 stories from the one event or day or whatever, instead of posting one and then you have to work on the next one and then post it and then you have to work on the next one and then post it, and then that just, it kind of gets a little ugh. So what I do from now on is I just post them all at one time, and I'm like, why was I not doing this? So just go to upload a picture or video or whatever, and then click the little page, is that a page button? The page button on the top right hand side, which will bring up the multiple stories option. And then you just click which ones you want to go for, click them in the order that you want them to appear. So let's go click those ones, and then you just go to next. And there you have your list of stories at the bottom that you can work on individually, but also at the same time. So we can work on story 1, put in whatever we want, text, emojis, GIFs, anything like that. And then you just move on to story 2. Do the same thing, and then you get to work on all the stories together, and then once you hit next, it will upload all of those stories at the one time. Yes, you're welcome. One thing I have noticed with this particular tip is that sometimes it hasn't worked that effectively for me. Sometimes there'll be one story out of the whole collective that just doesn't upload for some reason, and then that kind of screws you a little bit, because if you have to delete that one, you have to delete all the rest that follow, because there's a certain order that you want your stories to be seen in. So kind of a little bit annoying if you have to delete one and then kind of redo it all over again. So I have noticed that sometimes with this particular hack, or it's not even a hack, it's a tip, but I have noticed that, and it does kind of get annoying sometimes, but most of the time it does work, and you can upload all of your stories together at once. Alright, moving on to the final tip, tip number 5. This one is a good one, and something I didn't actually know about until recently. So sometimes using hashtags or geotags or tagging people in your Instagram stories can be a really effective way to get them seen, to get more eyes on them, really, to get people to share it. So what you can do is you can put hashtags or location tags or tag people in your Instagram story without even seeing it. So cool. I'm going to tag coffee, and it's usually best to make it quite small for this, because the bigger it is, the more easy it is to see. So if we make it a little smaller, just drag it all the way to the edge and it's gone, but it's still there. So you don't see it, but the hashtags or the geotags, like your location, if you wanted to put your location in, but not have anybody see it, you can drag it away so it disappears, but it's still in your story, and that way it still might show up under the geotagged Instagram story from that location. Very cool. It's just a really good way to try and get more eyes on your stories. Also, it doesn't clutter up the photo or the video, doesn't take up so much room on that precious little bit of room that you have. So a really, really cool tip. So there you have it, guys, some really good tips and tricks that you can use for your Instagram stories. I did also do another Instagram stories hacks video with 5 more, so do check that out if you're interested in seeing some more really cool hacks. Oh god, my finger. What is going on with my brain? Do hit that subscribe button, guys, for more good content just like this. And if you like this video, do give it a big thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And as we always say, take it easy. Don't be a stranger.